So you mentioned about it going from an hour to 5 seconds. How much time and like how many listings per week per month did you have, and how have you quantified how much time it saved you so far?
Yes. So, so like last year, I probably had about 20 listings that I
Hmm.
would have done. And so easily would have taken me somewhere for those would probably taken me 15 to 20 hours to write descriptions.
Wow.
Um, so with this, I would say the average description for me to write up and then because I'll ask it to change some things. I don't know if it takes me more than 2 minutes. So I would have less than an hour into those same 20 versus 20 hours. So literally could save me probably somewhere around 15 plus hours just on
Okay.
that component.
So welcome to the channel, Automated Realtors. My first conversation I have actually on the channel. We're going to talk to JJ Johannes, which is a pretty cool name. You ever play sports?
Yes, I did in high school, and a little bit in college.
Yeah, basketball.
Yes, sir.
I can tell that the announcers must have had a field day with your name.
I've
It's a
heard
good.
11 different ways.
So the owner of the Johannes Group. So we're going to talk a little bit of AI and kind of what's going on in the AI space. Just get some understanding there. So we can just kick off the conversation. I want to know the story. When I read that CNN article, which is the first time I heard about heard about what real estate agents were actually doing in the AI space, specifically with ChatGPT. Understanding there's other AI tools. Describe the first time, just the time that you heard about ChatGPT.
Yeah, so it would have been in the fall of 2022. It was the first time I'd really started hearing about ChatGPT. And when I heard about it and what it could do, it definitely piqued my curiosity. So my background is in technology. And so having that experience, I started to wonder, like, what would it be like to have something like this that could start doing some of the services or helping with things conversationally with clients that maybe sometimes I struggle with because we all kind of have that brain block, so to speak, sometimes
Right, right.
of what to type out or what to say. And so that was kind of the first part of it because it was using this language learning model, right?
Hmm.
And so when I started hearing about it, it definitely had my curiosity peaked early on, over a year ago.
So when I read in the article, you mentioned something about how it would take you an hour to write a listing, if I'm not correct, and it took it down to 5 seconds. So explain that. I want to know the story around that when you're going to ChatGPT, like when I did it the first time, and I saw all these different thoughts start coming to my head of what I could use this technology for. So I want to know when you first, went to the prompt itself, typed in the prompt, and it just started typing out everything. Kind of what was this conversation you were having with yourself?
Yeah, and so before listing descriptions that's just something that doesn't come natural to me,
Hmm.
thinking of all these, different ways to describe rooms and stuff like that. So it was something that was just kind of a struggle to kind of get through for myself. And for my clients, I wanted to come up with was something that was powerful and impactful in describing the property. And so when I went to ChatGPT, like a lot of the AI stuff, you
Hmm.
you learn prompts and inputs to help increase the quality of your output and what you get
Right.
out of it. And so what I first would just put in is, okay, well, write a description for 123 Main Street, and then it would pull up public data and put something out there. It's like, okay, well, it's got 4 bedrooms, it's got 3 bathrooms. So it started to refine it and very quickly learn that the prompts and information you give it increase the quality of the output that you receive. And so over time, what I've started to do is understand that when I'm typing that out, I want to give it the address, I want to give it some of the amenities about the property, the square footage, the
Mhm.
bedrooms, and the bathrooms. But I also wanted to point out things that I wanted to make sure it highlighted. Like, it's got an ensuite bathroom with a tile shower. It's got a chef's dream kitchen with stainless steel appliances. It's got a beautiful backyard with no neighbors behind it. It's in a convenient location close to, it's close to schools or shopping centers. So giving it those few extra data points helps it really refine the output to what it was receiving. But the first time when I went in to type it in, it was literally just typing in, write a description for 123 Main Street. And my output wasn't what I wanted, so to speak.
So you mentioned about it going from an hour to 5 seconds. How much time and like how many listings per week per month did you have, and how have you quantified how much time it saved you so far?
Yes. So like last year, I probably had about 20 listings that I
Hmm.
would have done. And so easily would have taken me somewhere for those would probably taken me 15 to 20 hours to write descriptions.
Wow.
Um, so with this, I would say the average description for me to write up, and then because I'll ask it to change some things. I don't know if it takes me more than 2 minutes. So I would have less than an hour into those same 20 versus 20 hours. So literally could save me probably somewhere around 15 plus hours just in
Okay.
that component.
So 15 plus hours been saved, and that was
1
over the
year.
course of 1 year, 15 hours saved. So
Yep.
where have you invested that additional? And I think this is where, technology comes into play. People sometimes don't like technology, but it's what it can do in our life and giving us back time, which is the one thing that we all have in common. What have you done with that 15 hours that you saved? Have you put that back into business, personal time? What does that look like now?
For me, it's kind of going back into the business. It's
Right.
focusing on other things, additional conversations. I can make additional phone calls. I can do additional reach outs. It allows me to have kind of that extra time to work on other things. And maybe I can do a little bit better on a CMA that I do for a client. So for me, is taking that time and taking something that I'd have to kind of allocate a time block for an hour. And now I just know I can knock that out in a few minutes. I don't have to worry about, all right, when am I going to write the description for that property today? How I got to get that done. Now it's, all right, I got to do a description. Let me pop open ChatGPT and let me put in my prompt and see what I get. And let's tweak it a little bit and refine it, and then we're good.
And have you been using ChatGPT only for listings or other things? Because I know like blog posts, content creation, that's a big issue. And then I want to get into like a lot of people just using ChatGPT just for the front end piece of it. But let's start there. What other things besides listing are you utilizing like AI for?
Yeah. So, and I use ChatGPT, and I have a pro version that I'm using right now, and I go into Bard, and I check out these other ones, and I always test, being from technology, testing different things to see what works best for whatever I'm using, and I always end up gravitating back towards ChatGPT. The other things that I find myself using it frequently on, one is content creation, especially social media posts. And so when I'm doing a reel video or like I'll do a video tour of a property, as far as I'll do a video for that's a reel. I'll do social media content. Most of my content's based around giving information to clients. And so I want a good caption for that, right? In Instagram or in TikTok or Facebook, wherever. So I like to use it for creating caption for the social media. And so what's nice in there is, again, giving it good prompts. Like, this is what I did the video about. Here's the information that you might want to mention in the caption. And then also, if I wanted to add a CTA, a call to action, inside the caption. So I'll use that for creating all that. The nice thing about that is, like, I post on Twitter as well, or X now. I'll say, now do the same post for Twitter, and it'll condense it down. So that way it'll fit under the characters that Twitter allows. So I use it for that. I also use it for newsletters. So when I do a monthly newsletter, having it help me with some verbiage on, the main part of it. So I don't do a blog, but I do put out a newsletter to clients. And so lots of times I like to have a refinement of kind of what's going on in the market. Again, I can come up with some of the great data points because I like to look at data and what's going on as a trend, but then to articulate that out, I like to use ChatGPT for that. I have also sometimes pulled it up when I want to respond in an email to somebody, whether it's another realtor or a colleague or something. And I feel like, there's another way that I could wordsmith this, so to speak. So I'll throw that into ChatGPT. Now, the other thing I use ChatGPT for is not anything in specific, but I do go to ChatGPT sometimes, like I go to Google. So sometimes we'll go to Google, right? We'll type out, like, how do I do this, or what can I do with this? And I like to use ChatGPT also kind of as a search engine, because it actually will give you a result versus a website where you then find the result.
So you mentioned a lot of the different tech stacks you're using, Google Bard, you're coming back to ChatGPT. I'm assuming because with Google Bard, you find yourself, you're always connected to the internet. As ChatGPT, they were supposed to update it, I think, to April 2023 recently, if I'm not forgetting. You said you always find yourself coming back to ChatGPT. What is Google Bard not giving you that you always bring yourself back to ChatGPT?
I think the quality of the output versus from what I'm looking for, I feel like it's more natural and cohesive to me. So I feel like the results are more of what I'm expecting to get back. Like when I've done a listing description in Bard, for example, I don't feel like it flows the way and is articulated the way I see in ChatGPT.
Okay. That's interesting, because I had this conversation with someone yesterday, and the Bard in ChatGPT came up, and their situation was, I lean more towards Google Bard. versus ChatGPT. I don't know if it's dependent upon like your input and what you're seeking, what you're trying to get out. That it varies, but it's interesting as we learn these. Now, with AI, ChatGPT is just one of many tools that are out there. You mentioned Google Bard. I'm curious to know, inside of your business and company, are you utilizing any other forms of AI tools and automation tools, or is there some task? Let's ask this question. Is there a tedious task with inside your business that you're looking to automate that has yet to be automated with AI, but you're looking on the market for some tool?
Not that I've found yet. No.
Okay.
I haven't found something like that, but I do use AI in other products that I use. So for my example, the CRM I use is Lofty, used to be formerly known as Chime. And there's an AI chatbot within that. And I pay for the extra, ability to have this chatbot engage with people and follow up with people. And so it also sends out text messages. And so there's communication and messaging from that AI chatbot, depending on, you can set up different parameters, but basically it's looking to see if someone has come back to my site and hasn't been on the site for a while, or if they've looked at 3 properties, or if they favorited a property, it will trigger AI to then engage with them with communication. And so that's one of the ways that I use AI. Another way is through Canva.
Yeah, I heard that.
Canva, they have a lot of great AI components now that can help you with creation and editing of different images. So I've used that a few different times when I've put together a presentation, or if I'm working on some image stuff that I wanted to do. And so that's another place. Another place I know AI is in there, but I haven't quite gotten into it yet, is ClickUp, which is kind of a project task-based management, where I like to put that in for myself and my wife, who works with me as far as the tasks that we need to do on the administrative side. There's some AI in that, and I haven't quite gotten past the first level of understanding the potential with it. But there are other places I like to use it. And the AI chatbot within Lofty is something that has definitely engaged clients and has had me follow up with people. That hasn't turned into any transactional business yet, but I do think that that's going to be coming up here soon with the way I've seen it engaging with people last few months.
How would you help realtors that have yet to, because there's a lot, I've reached out to a lot of different real estate agents. Some are for AI, others are not for utilizing AI. How would you, if they wanted to integrate AI into their business, like what was the process that you took to integrate AI into your business? And as you're still integrating AI into your business, what does that process look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's the challenge. It's always the challenge in anything new or different, particularly when we get in the technology sector, of like, how does someone go from never using it, not understanding it, potentially to actually implementing it? And the thing that I would say is to start with the things you know how to do. If you're not doing any sort of lead management with stuff, then don't try to do lead management with AI, right? You're doing a list. If you're getting listings, you're doing a listing description now.
Right.
Try to use it for that. So sometimes I feel like people try to say, well, I don't have anything that's helping me with like lead management, so I'm just going to try a new tool to do something new. You're kind of setting yourself up potentially for failure, right? You're doing something you don't know necessarily what the results will be, and then you're putting in a product that you don't understand. I would say lean into things that you know how to do and how you're doing those currently, like a listing description, social media post. Those are ones that agents are doing more of, and then lean into it to help you with that. And then also realize that the quality of your output from the chatbots like ChatGPT and Bard are dependent on the quality of your input. So when you get a response back, ask it to change something, or ask it to put it in a different tone, or change that part of it, versus like, oh, I put it in there, I didn't like the response, it doesn't work. And so it does take a little while or a few revisions to get maybe the output you're looking for. And most of the time, even for me now today, if I go in there and I work on a listing description, when I get to where I like it, I still copy and paste it, put it in Google Word, and then I go through and edit it, because I might take out and tweak a few little things. So that's what I would tell people to do, is to look at something you're doing now and how could this help you make it better, versus trying to do something brand new that you don't do now and using a tool that you haven't used before. I just think that you're probably setting yourself up for frustration.
Right. So look at your current process. If your current process is manual, just figure out where you can use AI to kind of automate your current process.
Correct. Yep.
Be the process. Okay. I don't know. You're using the free version or the paid version?
On ChatGPT, I have the paid version.
Yeah, me too. Have you got into GPTs?
Very little. I've kind of gone in there and played around with those at the beginning of the month, and then been a little busier, and I haven't got in there. But I've gone in and kind of looked at that because they opened up that whole
Store, the GPT store,
store
yeah.
thing,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of stuff in there. And again, that's where some people, I think, if the first thing you're trying to do with ChatGPT is go in there and use these, because some of them, like they go in there and they don't. I've gone in a couple of them, they don't work, or now they're
Hmm.
no longer in there, and so I think it's a little bit of a wild wild west why some of those get refined and people figure out what's kind of the best one for a certain thing. But I have used that. Like there's a logo or image maker where I've gone in there and just kind of tested that out, throwing stuff in there, like throwing my group name in there and seeing what it spits out just for fun.
So yeah, I use Chat. I actually used it before. Like I used a GPT and I made a just testing like with real estate, and I made a GPT for frequently asked questions. You can go online, find information about people that are always asking common questions about real estate, and I made a GPT about it. Just to see how it worked. Worked pretty well. So I mean, it's a lot of things you can do. Like as you said, it's really just understanding kind of what you want to automate. Talk to me about the person who doesn't get on board with AI. It reminds me of the people that didn't want to do social media when social media came out, right? What's
Yeah.
going to happen to the individuals that don't want to get on board with AI? People that are in real estate, what do you think their business is going to look like even this year? Because this year is going to be, I think it's going to be even bigger this year than last year as far as for AI stuff.
Yeah, I do think it's going to expand. AI is definitely going to expand this year. And so this has kind of always been my feeling. You go back how many years ago? You got to go back maybe 20 plus years ago. People are like, well, if you don't have a website, you're not going to be in business anymore as a real estate agent.
Right.
And you go back 5 or 10 years ago. If you're not on social media, you're not going to be around in real estate anymore. And I've always felt like I don't think that that's true. If you don't do AI, are you going to be out of real estate? No. But you're going to be competing against somebody who has more time, has more processes, and can refine things to help their business. And that's who you're going to be competing with. So what I see is, if you go back 20 years ago, the agents who were using websites to their advantage for marketing, you saw that they were increasing their business. The agents who use social media, probably in your market, wherever you're watching this at, the agents who are using social media effectively, they're probably getting good results out of that, and you're probably competing with some of them. AI is going to be the same way. Is it going to replace agents? No. Is it going to, if you don't use AI, you're going to be out of business? No. But you are going to be competing against agents who are using AI to make their emails sound better, to make their blogs sound better, to make their social media posts sound better, to make their listing descriptions sound better. And that's going to save them time that they can either relax a little bit more, have family time, or spend time, whatever they want to do on their hobbies, or they're going to spend more time, refining and working into their business. And so that's what you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage. Not that you put yourself out of business, I think you put yourself at a disadvantage.
Yeah, because the person that takes advantage is going to have more leverage. We're all fighting against the time that we have, and AI that's just what it's about, is giving us more time. So you have your own brokerage, right? And you have realtors working for you.
No, actually, I don't have my own brokerage. I did
Okay.
before, but I don't currently. No.
Okay. Okay. So if you were to bring on, say, for instance, you bring on someone's new coming to you in regards to real estate, a young realtor, they want to understand, they want to get their processes set up, they want to get their business set up utilizing AI. What are the first couple pieces of technology, AI stack, that you tell them, okay, get on this and just start playing with this? They have no experience, they have no process in place. I know you talked about having something in place, but they have nothing now. But they say, I want to take advantage of this starting. What are you telling them to get on?
Well, so outside of AI, it would be, making sure that you are getting a CRM system in place with a website that's going to help drive people there. Now, the AI component of that is I would want a CRM today going forward that has an AI chatbot involved with it to help communicate with clients or potential clients who are on your website or in your database 24/7 without you having to always think about it and worry about it and follow up on it. Now, as far as the AI component specifically, I would tell them, get a free ChatGPT account, get a free BART account. And when you're thinking about messaging people or you're creating social media posts, use that every single time. Put the input in there, see what the output is. Eventually, you'll see which one you like better,
Right.
and then start leaning into that. So try both of those. Those would be kind of the main two pieces. And then I also would, like you were saying, I would lean into the fact that if you have questions and you don't know the answer to, and you're wondering about real estate, obviously always reach out to your broker or your team leader or whoever your mentor is in it. But you can also go through and ask ChatGPT or Bard some questions, and it can give you some responses as well to help you with that.
JJ, good conversation. I think, like I said, I think AI is the future for well, not just real estate agents, but a lot of people. And I really feel if people don't get on AI, it's like one of those different things. Like you said, the .com boom, the social media thing. Now it's like time for AI. So it's really great for giving people more opportunity to get into things. And a lot of jobs are going, like you said, they're not going to replace some jobs going to be replaced, unfortunately, but those that have the skill set of AI, you're going to make yourself more valuable in the marketplace. So definitely, I appreciate your time and having this conversation with me. And to those that are listening, make sure you subscribe. We're going to bring you more conversations with different people that are in real estate talking about AI and everything. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you at the next video.